Hi, my name is Clay Miller. I'm an American and I live here in Thailand. I've actually lived here for over 20 years and I'm 60 years old. So when I turned 55, I started struggling with different symptoms like slow urination, having to urinate many times during the night, as well as urinary tract infections or UTIs. So it was the UTIs specifically that kept recurring over and over. I would say over a 6 or 8 month period, they recurred 4 or 5 times. And I was on antibiotics. I was on different prostate medications to try to help reduce the size of the prostate or improve my symptoms. And then at the end of last year, in 2022, the symptoms just got notably worse to the point where urination became a big problem where I couldn't urinate at all. And so again, that's why I seeked out different advice on what the best procedure was for me. And I don't believe that these medications and the herb itself really were improving my symptoms. I couldn't see a big difference. There were several side effects that occurred, like retrograde ejaculation specifically was the biggest problem that I saw. Again, as my symptoms continued to get worse, frequency of urination, frequencies of urinary tract infections, it began to really impact my lifestyle overall. So again, I was on medication for over a year, and as the symptoms continued to get worse, and I was doing a lot of research, I knew that I didn't want to have the TURP procedure done. It was very invasive, and I believe that the recovery time was much longer than I wanted to wait for seeing some relief from my symptoms. So again, I did research myself. I ran across a video on YouTube that was done by dr.suntchai and the B&H hospital, and that's what really led me to him and the hospital specifically. So I reached out and made an appointment. Was really lucky that the appointment was done within 2 or 3 days, and then I came in for a consultation and a discussion. One of the things that I really liked about dr.suntchai and B&H specifically is that they took time to gather data so that we could make the best informed decision for my case. And that was really helpful, and we decided on Rezum. So in researching Rezum and seeing other patients in the US and Europe, we saw that it was just an inpatient procedure. However, in talking with dr.suntchai, I decided that going under anesthesia and doing that in the operating room was probably, for me, my personal best choice. So I came in the morning. We did a pre-op procedure a couple of days before, but that morning I came in, they began to get me prepped for the OR, and within a few short minutes, they basically put me to sleep. And then the procedure, of course, took place while I was asleep. The next thing that I remember was waking up in the recovery room and the nurse assuring me that the procedure was successful and that I would stay there in the recovery room for a few minutes and get my bearings and then would go home. Of course, they sent me home with a catheter, and that was something that I was worried a bit about, but dr.suntchai assured me that the catheter would aid in the speed of my recovery. For me personally, I kept the catheter in for 10 days, which is a long time for some procedures, but I was really happy that dr.suntchai recommended that I keep the catheter in for a longer period of time. And I believe that aided in my healing, and the recovery time, of course, has been much shorter. I think not having to be recatheterized was a plus for me. So now it's been 3 months, a little over 3 months since my Rezum procedure. And the good news for me specifically is that all of the symptoms that I was suffering from before have gone away. Basically returning to where I was probably a year and a half ago. So the UTIs, I haven't suffered another urinary tract infection. The frequency of urination, the strength of my urine stream, and then waking up in the night. Sometimes I'll go all night long for 7 hours, maybe 6 or 7 hours without having to wake up during the middle of the night, and that's been great. So I'm really pleased with the outcome of the Rezum procedure. Of course, Dr. SunChai and the staff here at B&H have been phenomenal in the post-op care and advising me on what to expect. Again, post-op 3 months, they even say that my symptoms could even improve a bit more. So I'm really happy with the procedure. It's exceeded my expectations. And again, thanks to the care here at B&H and with Dr. SunChai specifically.